Welcome to another episode of Dirtcheapdaily. In this episode, we get the flywheel on, the clutch kit, the pressure plate, and we get the manual transmission up in the car. This baby just goes up there. Like that. Whew. Hopefully it won't fall. Gotta go grab my flywheel bolts because pressure plate bolts are smaller. Okay, so here you can see the difference between a flex plate and a flywheel bolt. Obviously the flex plate bolt is really short. It's almost half the size of a flywheel bolt because the flex plate is just like 1/8 inch thick, almost sheet metal, and our flywheel is pretty chunky. So make sure you get new or used flywheel bolts and don't use your pressure plate bolts because they're not going to work. So we're going to stick these in bolted up, torque it down, and then we'll get on to the clutch install. So here's my new pressure plate. It has like oily residue on it so that it doesn't rust in the box, and what you want to do is just take brake cleaner and drench it. Put tons and tons and tons over it, wipe it off with a really brand new clean rag, spray it down again. Do that 2 or 3 times to make sure all of the oil is gone. If there is oil on your pressure plate, you're going to have some issues with your clutch. It's not going to break in correctly. You're going to get hot spots, and you'll have irregular wear. You really don't want that. You want this to be perfectly clean when you put it on. I already did this to my flywheel. You want to do the exact same thing to your flywheel. It's just like what you do to brake new rotors or anything like that. Just spray the crap out of it. Get it clean. And just wipe it down. Spray it off again. Looking pretty good. Now I'm going to spray it off one more time and then use newspaper so there's no little pieces of lint on it. Okay, so the last piece in your clutch kit is this pilot bearing. The pilot bearing sits right on this end shaft and gives support to this end of the this drive shaft. So it spins like that, and my flywheel's already bolted on, but if this were the flywheel, it would sit right there in the flywheel, and you just slightly tap it in place using a rubber mallet or a piece of wood, and you just tap it in and it sits right in there. There is not an inside and outside to this. It doesn't matter which way you put it on, it's just a universal bearing that's the right size. So go ahead and pound that in, and then we'll put up our clutch disc and put the pressure plate on. Okay, once you have your pressure plate and your flywheel all cleaned off, go ahead and take your clutch disc out of its box. Here's the box it came with. There's some cool instructions on the back of it, but you want to slide it on to the tool that it came with. This is the clutch alignment tool. So you just slide it on there. Also take it over to your transmission and slide it on that spline to make sure that it fits. And then you just take this, and this is how you put it on. So you slide the clutch alignment tool onto the pilot bearing so it can spin, and then just push it right up against the flywheel. This side is the side that kind of sits out. It has thicker springs on this side as opposed to the inside. Let me see if you can even put it on the other way. Okay. Okay, yeah. So if you tried to put the clutch on backwards, you won't get contact with the flywheel. You'll get metal to metal contact. So when you're doing that, if it's your first clutch, be careful, because you really don't want to put that on. You're going to have metal to metal. You're never going to have good contact, and you're just going to get a lot of smoke and really loud noises from your clutch. So we're going to pull this back out, flip it around. You don't want to touch the actual organic part of the clutch, just like with the clutch surfaces. Push it up against the flywheel, and then we grab our pressure plate and put our pressure plate over the top of it. There are a couple alignment pins on the flywheel. So right here is an alignment pin, and up here is an alignment pin. Now you need to make sure that those line up with the holes on your pressure plate. Okay. I'm trying to get the alignment dowel set up on there as well. Right there. Grab one of your bolts. Just slide it in there to get it started. Do one up top. Slowly and evenly. There we go. So it just popped in. That alignment pin is seated, and this alignment pin is seated. And so we can tighten up the bolts like you would do on a tire. I'm going to start at the one on the bottom and go the bottom to the top. Again, I'm not torquing them down with this, I'm just running them in slowly. Once they're torqued down, you can pull out your clutch alignment tool and then grab some of the grease that was sent. Grab some of this and put just a little bit in the splines of that clutch. And that way you'll get it to slide in. It'll slide back and forth on that shaft really nicely, and you won't have to worry about any corrosion or the clutch like sealing itself to the transmission. It'll be really smooth. You'll get good clutch disengagement and engagement. Alright, so I just checked, and the service manual says to torque pressure plate bolts to 11.6 foot-pounds. So I'm not going to bother grabbing my torque wrench, because 11.6 foot-pounds is about hand tight with a 3/8 wrench for me. It's a bit different for everybody, but over time you'll be able to recognize how tight you're torquing, and that 11.6 is just barely torqued. So we're going to do that, and then once that's torqued, you just pull out your clutch alignment tool and kind of get all of these wires up out of the way, and we'll get that transmission back up in here. So we have the transmission up here, obviously, but you need to take off the bracket that holds your clutch cable, because it's hitting the firewall before you can get it up mounted on those two studs.
Getting my haircut today, he was asking if it's a drifter thing to have like 6 different cars, 2 or 3 that don't run, and some that don't run very well but are really loud, because he has a neighbor that is a drifter. I said it's probably in line with when you're working on one car and you see something for cheap and you're like, hey, why not?
Yep.
So you end up collecting a few? I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably how it goes.
He said, why not just sell them all and buy something better?
good at certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got fiberglass in my mouth.
Oh, no. Freaking.
Really torqued that down.
Oh, I didn't even put it on. That's how it was.
Oh, there you go. That's why.
Yeah.
It's been on there forever and a day.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Okay. Here's one. Buzz it. What was that? Crap, it's got two sides to it.
Shoot, eh?
Hate that. Lame. It's like a whole transmission bolt that keeps the case halves together.
Ooh.
So I gotta get a wrench on the other side.
It's all gonna be worth it once you're driving it.
That's what I keep telling myself.
It's gonna be way worth it. It's so much more fun driving manual. Makes the car, I don't know, makes the car a joy.
Especially rear wheel drive.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a 14 on that side.
How's your finger?
Well, I got the Band-Aid pretty tight, so I don't think it's bleeding anymore. It didn't bleed, it hasn't bled through yet. So,
Super glue it if you want.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna do later. That's how long that dumb bolt was. Okay, now I'll get the other one. I'm assuming it goes through as well. That's usually how it works, unfortunately. Right there. And that one feels like a 14. Ta-da! Okay. Recording?
That's the trouble.
You gotta take this off. Oh. This piece here has to come off because this hits the firewall when you're trying to get it on the studs. And this is what holds your clutch cable. Okay. Now we'll put it in the car.
Now, back or forward or
Back.
in here.
Okay.
A little lower, slow.
Okay.
Right there, we should have free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Okay, those are on the studs. So if we get the back end up, we just need to get it, the two at the right angles.
Okay.
Oh, hey, we're way on. Okay, go for it, Chels.
Get in there. Come on.
How's your hand doing, hon?
What?
How's your hand?
Fine.
Bounce it in or something. Wiggle it back.
Where are we? Where are we binding now? Let me
let
turn.
go?
Yeah, you can let go for a second. Can you get your hand in that tail shaft and twist that?
Is it? Yeah, I'm turning it.
Okay, sweet. That'll turn that front shaft, and that's I think what we're waiting for. Okay, go ahead and push down, Chels. We're so close. Come on.
crap. Slide over. Come on. There you go. Maybe.
Let me get from the top and see what's going on.
I can't turn it now. I think it's either in contact with or lined up.
Well, that's good. Hold on. Let me get a pulley on, ratchet on this front pulley.
There we go.
Going on?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Spin it. Spin it. I'm feeling the back.
Okay.
Still not. Yeah. But
Well,
we're close enough to thread bolts on the back.
yeah,
Try spinning now. Still nothing.
It might not be in gear.
Oh, that's true, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
we're touching, right?
Yeah, well, I can bolt it. I can bolt it all the way up from here.
Yeah, and these transmission mounts are lining up.
Sweet, let's do it. I have the two big ones up here because the automatic didn't have the two big ones.
Yeah.
It just had a rear. It didn't have this forward one.
It's got that big pan on the bottom.
Yeah, but they just had little caps. These caps were covering these holes, and they had the threads underneath them.
Okay.
So like they build all their cars the same. It's pretty rad.
They just cover the holes.
Yeah. Those ones are 17s. Yours are 14s, right?
So technically, I could switch my car to an automatic.
Yeah, I got one you could use.
Hooray! Automatic's faster because then you don't have the time it takes to have to shift.
Awesome.
Are these needing to move or are they just stiff? They're stiff.
They're just stiff, yeah.
You got a ratchet?
I need to grab it.
Or just buzz it up?
I'm gonna just buzz it. But
Yeah.
I just need a 17 because these are 17s.
Yeah.
Let me grab it. I'm trying to get this one to go in all the way.
Woo woo!
That's the hardest part of this whole thing.
Of anything, when you split the tranny and the engine, that's the worst part of getting it back together.
Yeah.
Engine, tranny, engine. Don't take them apart unless you have to.
That's why you need to do everything right. Hopefully, once we turbo this, it'll have enough grip force. Oh shoot, I grabbed the wrong one.
You got a ripped inner tie rod boot.
I got two ripped inner tie rod boots.
I wonder if it's the... I guess that's what makes it steer bad.
Yeah, but they aren't blown inner tie rods.
Yeah,
I just have to replace the boot, and I don't want to just replace the boot because,
that'd be the whole rack.
yeah, I think it's the rack. Okay, that's stupid. I'm grabbing up 3/8/17. Don't know what I did before this gun.
Beauty.
Whammo!
She's in.
Yeah, she is.
Jack's out.
Yep. Here are my...
So this is the welded...
Yep, this is welded center diff. Rear wheel drive. Dang it. Here's an assortment of extensions and wobblies. Hopefully one of them will make it so we can get past that axle stub. Yes.
It's easier angle than when you got the CVs all hooked up plus exhaust and everything.
That's for sure. Did you do yours with the exhaust on?
I guess not with the exhaust on, but no, it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I didn't take the exhaust out from under the car.
Yes.
Beautimous.
Yes. Okay.
Starter and then the top bolts.
Yep.
Make sure you get all those before you move on. Make
Yeah.
sure they're torqued down.
Yeah. Let me grab that breaker bar, and I'm gonna let you torque all of these.
Okay.
And then I'll put in the ones up top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's a 14 and that 17, and I'll grab just the breaker bar.
17s going in.
Okay.
If I can get a good angle on it. Yeah. Okay.
You need an extension?
No, I just got to get my arms in the right place.
Okay.
Torqued. This is to keep it from falling out when you're driving around. That would be bad.
Starter's gonna be easier to do from underneath, I think.
Yeah, you got a ton of room right here.
You have to do it from above on the automatic.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, the transmission cooler lines and everything.
Yeah.
Starter goes up like that, and then you just hang out. But then you put this on it. The funny thing is, the exhaust studs and the exhaust bolts are the same pitch and diameter as the engine mount studs. Kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, come on. Give me a break. It doesn't ever work. Wobbly. Wobblies save the world. There we go. And then I'm just gonna torque it this much. I don't think this was torqued that much after we did the head gaskets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, sweet. Let's see if this. Oh, that definitely is not gonna reach. No, that's not it. Speed sensor wire. There it is. Oh man, speed sensor wire. Well, this has to plug in right there, so I need to extend that like 6 inches, maybe 10 inches, just to be safe.
To get it to plug into it.
Yeah, that'll be alright though. And then one of these, I don't know what the other one does, but one of them is my reverse lights. Anyway, and then this big chunky one that has not the 14 pin or the 16 pin in it. You want the 9 pin or the 12 pin. Yeah, so the 12 pin, you could ignore all top 2 rows, and if I'm remembering my wiring diagram correctly, these two you jump together, and that makes it think it's always in park, and these two are your reverse lights. So one of these two are going to get plugged into those two and be my reverse lights, and then these two are going to get jumped. How easy is that?
Sweet. Seems like the hardest part is getting the stupid automatic out.
Yeah, that definitely was. I would have had it together way faster, but one of those pressure or flex plate bolts, remember how it wouldn't tighten up? Because it crapped off in the middle of it, so I had to spend 3 hours getting it out so I could put in my last flywheel bolt. but that's okay. Yeah, I would have been like done by now. So that's torqued. So now everything left this transmission to bell housing to engine wise is needing to be done up top. I wonder if this can have a place like it did on the automatic somewhere. Chunkies. Wear safety glasses when you're under a car. Okay, there it is. That's my O2 wire. I don't know how far it's supposed to go or where it needs to connect, but on the automatic it had a bolt for it. You bolt it in, and I guess I don't really need it. I can just zip tie it to something. Once I figure out how to plug my O2 sensor wires back into the connectors. Alright. Let me put these axle cups in too really quick. Alright. Maybe I should have waited to put that starter on until after I got this bracket back on.
Oh.
We'll see. We'll see if I regret it or not. Okay. Let's do everything on top of the engine now. I'm done laying down on the ground. And this freaking 30-pound torque converter. Oh. Okay.
Thus proving when you take parts off your car, you'd rather throw them away than sell them.
Yeah, seriously. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes.